Fires and protests in response to George Floyd's death spread across the United States as outrage surrounding the incident intensified.
Don't shoot! Don't shoot! I can't breathe! I can't breathe!
Outside the White House, protesters faced off against police dressed in riot gear and Secret Service on May 29th. The White House was briefly placed under lockdown in response.
And it's a great state, Minnesota. They've got to get tougher. They've got to get tougher. They've got to be strong. Honor the memory of George Floyd. Honor his memory. They have to get tougher. And by being tougher, they will be honoring his memory. But they cannot let that happen.
The situation is incredibly dangerous.
On May 30th, Minnesota's governor mobilized the National Guard, stating that the protests had become more than a response to Floyd's death.
I myself can fully understand the rage. I spoke this evening to George Floyd's siblings quite extensively. I understand that rage. We've talked about it. We understand what has to happen. What's going on out there right now is not that.
The demonstrations in Minneapolis started when police officer Derek Chauvin, who is seen in video footage pressing his knee into Floyd's neck, was fired, but had not yet been charged with Floyd's death. Days of protests continued before Chauvin was charged on May 29th with third-degree murder and manslaughter.
We see police in tactical gear on the other side of this fence over here, and then protesters on your side of the fence.
That's right.
This is a standoff. Talk to me about what's going on. I mean, this is chaotic, perhaps the most chaotic that we have seen since night before last.
So here we go. We got a little bit of a fire breaking out on the left here as people are being forced back by the police. And you see these police officers and patrol officers are advancing slowly through the intersection as gas is preceding their steps as they are walking vehicles inside as well. At this point, we're trying to stay out of their way. We're going to be over on the side here. Again, you see what is in front of them right now. All of these protesters that are slowly being pushed back further and further methodically. You have canisters exploding in the ground here, thrown by police officers, you see, as they are rolling them into the ground as gas is coming up as well. They are methodically trying to move this group of protesters out of the street, trying to enforce this curfew forcefully, as we are seeing right now, and protesters are continuing to back up. I mean, this is a scene that has developed so quickly, and over the course of the day, we have seen here largely what officials wanted to see. That is peaceful protesting, trying to stick to the message. And, you know, we're going to back up just a little bit here. Our producer got hit. All right. Our producer got hit by some sort of projectile right there. We're going to back up here. You okay? Come on. We got to move here. Let's back up. Come on. We're going to get back. We're going to move back. We're going to get to a safe spot here, Don. As they continue to methodically work there. We got to move back, fellas. Come on. Let's move. So we got some tear gas in the air here as we're in a brisk jog right now. We are getting away from the patrol officers that are making their way up the street. But I cannot emphasize enough, this is probably the strictest enforcement we have seen of any sort of law enforcement directive throughout this entire week of protests. There have been times where they have allowed the peaceful protest to continue, and then in the evenings it gets out of control and buildings are set on fire. That does not seem like it's going to be the case here tonight. This is a neighborhood that had been ravaged over the course of last night and even the night before, as the police precinct here, they tried to scale it and do the same thing they did to the 3rd precinct, but they were not quite successful. They did burn out that Wells Fargo as you see them walking past it right now. But again, you see how methodically these officers are moving through the streets here.